Do you ever feel like you're juggling a million versions of yourself and still dropping the ball? Like you're switching hats all day, professional, partner, parent, friend, and no one really sees what it takes to just be you? Yeah, me too. Welcome to Hatrack with Hannah. I'm Hannah, therapist, entrepreneur, author, podcast host, and also a mom, partner, daughter, friend, basically a professional hat wearer. I created this space where you don't have to minimize what you're carrying or rush past it. Because the truth is, you can have big dreams and feel overwhelmed by the roles it takes to hold them. Both get to exist. Here we slow it down, call it what it is, take some hats off, and figure out what actually belongs in your rack. So take a deep breath. You can set something down here, and let's get into it. Welcome back, Hat Rack listeners. I'm Hannah, your host, and this is Jess, our spiritual guide. After last week's podcast, we really felt called to kind of give an example of what this work looks like and dive a little bit deeper than we normally would. So we have reconvened to give you more of an insight of what this work looks like and to destigmatize the woo and give you some more background on what Jess does. So, Jess, take it away. If you want to give more of an intro about what you do and some of the services you offer and what we're going to do today, that would be awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me back. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Just a little background about me and what I do. So, I'm a spiritual teacher and writer, and I've come to a space, though, in my work where it is really mind, body, soul altering. It really is something that I embody in my everyday as myself. Like I'm living this after going through so many things of my own journey to get to here. And so it's so nice to be able to have spaces to offer where everything's individualized too. So I offer one-on-one coaching where it's very specific, tailored to what you're going through in your journey. But it also, I am running a group called Spiritual Awakening. Right now, we are on pause and it will open up back in September. I also have a membership called the Awaken membership that is all year round. We do Monday Magic every Monday, and we have quarterly live sessions together where basically it's like hot seat coaching. And the power of it, I don't even know how to describe it in this call because I have watched some of my clients, I could cry. I have watched them manifest their dreams. And really, a lot of it has to do with shadow work. Like, I have published my shadow work journal last October, which is a dream come true. And the shadow work is very important. So, that's another thing I offer. I also offer shadow work intensives because shadow work for me has altered my life in a way that I can't explain. It has changed everything for me because with every light, there's a shadow. And we have to really look at that, right? Because it's not a negative. It's not something to be scared of. It's something to really look at because that's how the manifestation happens. There's always like a shadow or a blockage or something holding you back. And all of us have our own unique experiences in life that either can amplify us or at times hold us back, but they don't have to hold us back. That's the thing. It's actually a superpower. That's what I've realized. Like the things for me that have held me back, they're actually have turned out now to be a superpower, and I'm like grateful for them. I never thought I would say that, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my story. I'm grateful for my sobriety. I'm grateful for all the hard things that I went through because I do feel in my bones that I'm meant to help others return to their light and find their spark. There's nothing that lights me up more than watching people that I work with have that spark come back or just realize that it's possible. And in my work too, it's like think big. You don't have to dim your dreams, your feelings. Everything's welcome, and that's where the magic happens. And then today I'm actually looking at which, if you look at this, other people have done this as well. And I've been talking about it for a long time with my friends, but there has come to be a formula, the more research I've been doing about it, a frequency code. And that's why when I'm talking about how my one-on-one coaching is so individualized, because every one of us has a different frequency code. We all have a different blueprint, right? Like we
Mhm.
all do. And when you understand yourself and how you operate, that's really where magic does happen. So this frequency code, and we'll use you, Hannah, as an example today.
Yay.
Yeah, we'll use you, and the frequency code is basically your Jupiter sign. Because if you think of Jupiter, that's your strengths, right? Like that's your strengths. That's your expansion and how abundance moves through you. Then you look at your 10th house, which is your legacy, what you're here for. And then you pair that with your human design, which is how you attract things and how energy can move through you, how you work, how you operate.
So this is
Yeah,
astrological too.
oh yeah, this is very I definitely bring a lot of astrology into my work
Okay.
because it even when I look back at astrology and I'm looking 10 years ago, I'm like, wow, that is what happened, right? And if you look at your blueprint or how you operate, it really is
Right.
helpful to hone in on your shadows, right? Because it will bring up what you're supposed to look at and your strengths and I'm not saying that looking at your frequency code, everything's going to fall into place, but it's going to give you a lot of movement, a
Right.
lot of movement.
And I'm assuming a lot of things to process and kind of work through and towards understanding yourself better. Because like when
Yeah.
we talked about frequencies in our last episode of just how we find low versus high and what the differences are, I'm assuming
Yes.
this blueprint helps you kind of be guided.
It does. It helps you operate. It does help you operate at a higher frequency because you're able to understand yourself and it can help you. The shadow work is more what helps you the
Right.
most, I would say. I mean, there's so many different ways. There's actually no, I want to clarify too. I don't believe there's a specific right or wrong way to heighten your frequency except for really honoring your truth, open, honest, willing, and truly your frequency can heighten when we're living in like guilt, shame, and your frequency code can help you understand yourself more. Should we do
Cool.
yours?
Yeah. So this sounds like too, just like a disclaimer. It sounds like this is going to be like kind of vulnerable toward and geared towards what my inner workings are. So we're really putting it out there for our listeners today.
Actually, I'm going to go over generically what your Jupiter sign is, what your
Yeah.
10th house is, and what your human design and kind of show how that can merge.
Okay.
But we don't have to
Great.
dive into the depths of it at all, but just kind of let's go through them and see what comes up for you.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
I'm
So,
excited. Yeah.
are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I love this work. I do this work often.
Do
I'm
you?
here. Oh, I'm here for the spirit guides. I'm here for all the astrology work. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing I do in my sessions. I always invite my higher power, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it. Whatever works for you. I always invite my higher power and God in, always, because I know that there's something greater out here that really I lean into and I watch it happen. It makes me emotional because I'm like, I wish I just surrendered earlier, but here we are, right? So for you,
Yep.
so let's start with your Jupiter sign. And
Okay.
I did take some notes just
Ooh,
because I don't want to, because I focus on mine obviously a lot, but I do these all the time. So I want to make sure we're honing on you for you, Hannah. So your Jupiter sign is actually in Libra. Your Jupiter sign's in Libra.
no, it's
Did
not.
you know? Yeah, it is.
No, so I didn't know that, but my so everyone in my family, like my husband and my daughter and I, were all cusp babies, and both of them have Libra.
Yes. Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yours is in Libra, your Jupiter
Okay.
sign. When you that so think of your Jupiter placement too as like your strengths, like how abundance and expansion moves through you. And for if it's in Libra, really you expand through meaningful partnerships. Not that it only is through partnerships, but that's where a lot of expansion happens for you in partnerships that will bring abundance, that will bring you to a space where it's going to expand you to a level of through these partnerships, but it's going to expand you individually and your life and your business and what you're doing. And also, too, authentic connections for Libra. Like if your Jupiter is in Libra, you're going to really have a devoted audience. It's more about quality and not quantity. Like you're
Yeah.
really going to have a devoted audience. So everything you do, because it's so authentic, you can't operate without it being authentic. But it's all, yeah, so that's what's coming through. And creating beauty is a big one for Libra, actually. And
Mm.
beauty, when we talk about beauty, that doesn't necessarily mean aesthetically. That's what you're talking about, right? And the beauty can be bringing to light, bringing in these conversations that aren't actually talked about a lot. That's beautiful, right? That's needed. And I think that a lot of it, intuitively for you, it's about what conversations, authentic, again, conversations you can have that bring this beauty and connection to the world. And
That's
yeah,
so
so
aligned. That's
is it?
so aligned with me. That's a lot of like my clients will laugh, but I am like no bullshit because I have the conversations that are uncomfortable and hard to have. And that's how I operate. Yeah.
You're gonna when we go to your 10th house, this makes sense too, because the Libra, yes. So literally co-creation multiplies what you do alone too. I want to make sure to talk about that. So like what you're doing alone is actually going to expand and multiply through co-creation. So you actually are doing the inner work alone, but then it's going to expand through a co-creation, like through collaboration, through, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so you actually create it alone, but then it multiplies when you share it. Like when
Yeah.
you collaborate with people, when you share it that way is what's
Yeah.
coming up.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
that's your Jupiter's in Libra. So any questions about that? And then we'll move on to your 10th house.
So is that basically saying that I need to be more collaborative
I
or
mean, I
hone
feel
in
like
on
you,
collaborative relationships?
yes, it is saying that, not that, but again, they want to stress that what you're doing alone is just as important, but the expansion is going to come through the collaborations. The expansion is actually think big too, like you're always in the right place at the right time. So just think like that for you, like I'm always at the right place at the right time, because then when you're at the right place at the right time, for one collaboration could change your whole life, but it's actually what you've done. It's just expanding through the collaboration or the co-creation, because who knows why, right? Like it could
Right.
be, but
Right.
it's actually what you're doing. So and really what you have to say is worth a lot, right? Your mind is worth millions. I can feel it and you're in the energy. So it's going to
Well,
expand, open
yeah.
it for you, because you already have it all in your mind. Truly, like you are going to be collaborating a lot with this,
Oh,
with
for
your
sure.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And
it's
it's been
going to expand.
fueling. Yeah. This is making a lot of sense.
So your Jupiter's in Libra, and then with your 10th house, which is, of course, the domain of your career, your legacy, your public life, really. I think I was telling you this last time, but it's interchangeable with your midheaven, which is the highest point in your chart. So your 10th house, you don't know, it's Scorpio.
I did
So
not know that.
yeah. So Scorpio is in your 10th house, which is so cool and powerful. So when looking at your 10th house, your purpose is to lead through transformation. Lead through transformation. Literally, you lead through transformation. You're a therapist. Of course, that's literally leading through
Yeah.
even more, it goes beyond that. You lead through transformation, speaking the truths others avoid, and building a deeply devoted community through authenticity, depth, and reinvention. I have goosebumps. And see how they're
Well, it
completely different signs, but they make sense. Yeah.
completely. But also, like, that's exactly what I'm trying to do here.
Yes.
So that
So
makes so much sense.
yes. Yeah, no, I know. You even said it, actually. That's why I was like, oh, just wait till we get to your 10th house. You said you say the things that other people don't want to say. That's kind of what this is saying. It dives in way more, because really the area to focus on for you is, yeah, transformation, power, depth, all these things that really your business is doing, right? Like
Yeah.
you're going to talk about those conversations, and yeah, the hidden currents that run beneath, like the hidden, yeah, all this again, shadow work. Like for other people, what
Yep.
you do organically is shadow work for other people.
Right.
Like because you're bringing to surface what's hidden. You're talking about what maybe other people won't, right?
It's interesting because that's like all I do in my professional life, right? But then when I do that in my personal life, I've noticed so often people don't want to go there and don't want to have those authentic conversations. And I have very tight-knit circles for a reason because I can't do the whole masking, smiling, not talking about hard topics.
And that's
So more shadow work.
Superpower though, you were brought to this space for a reason. And this is
Yeah.
kind of validating that because really that is what you're doing. And that
Yeah.
is what this is all about, bringing those topics that other people are too scared to talk about to the surface. And it creates depth and transformation. And that's really important. And paired with your Jupiter and Libra, it meshes together so well, right? So you can see how the abundance will move through you when you collaborate because you're already talking about things so many people don't want to talk about or don't want to go
Right.
there. So then it's amplifying it and it's going to bring you to a space where the expansion happens organically because it's needed. It's really needed. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
Love
this is
this.
what you're meant to do. Literally. There's so much here, but I don't want to just read off of this. I wanted to just go off what's coming up intuitively. But yeah, that's your 10th house is in Scorpio.
What else does that mean? Like, what traits are there then?
The main message of if your 10th house in Scorpio or for anybody else who has it is you're expressing the raw, real version of everything, the truth that nobody wants to go to. And but then you also too, you stop choosing the filtered version of it, right?
So to get to the highest frequency, I have to stop filtering.
Yes, absolutely. Stop filtering. You
I
be
grab clocks.
completely like, do even if some it makes others uncomfortable. It's really important to say the rawest, realest version of it. You don't need to filter it down to wonder, will this person understand it? Will this person understand it? No, it's like this is what it is,
Yeah.
right? Even if it can be uncomfortable, it can be almost like shocking even. That's okay, right? Like
Yeah.
anything, it's just what it is what it is what you're gonna want to say it, how it is, like straight up, like almost like, oh, like
Well, and I think I've done that so much in my life and had such bad feedback from it. And like when we're talking about like what silences us, we've had these conversations in different spaces before. I think that's what's always silenced me is you need to put a filter on. This past week, I was talking to a good friend who was having to mask up to be at an event. And I didn't talk to her about this. I should have, but I feel that so deeply because that's the messaging I've always received is like, you need to filter. You need to present this way. You need to, like, you can't say that. That's shocking.
no more. This
Yeah.
is feeling the opposite. That's what's the literally, it's you're not supposed to filter that. I have goosebumps because this is how I feel too, where, if I look at myself before I was masked, right, or caged, like Glennon
Yeah.
Doyle's
Yeah.
I really do feel the moment where I was caged and I started filtering myself down. And for you, especially with your 10th house, for anybody, nobody wants to be caged. Everyone should be
No.
free and not asking. But this is really important and part of like your purpose to get to the space where you aren't filtering anymore. And again, shadow work. See how important shadow work is even for the expansion because you want to remove those layers of where, like you said, throughout your life, everyone's told you to do this. Slowly dismantle that.
I'm
Take
shedding that.
the layers off. You will literally even feel lighter. I started to do that. I would be quieter, this and that. Now I just do not do that. And it's like you feel lighter, like let
Yeah.
it. And that's where, too, we get stuck in thinking we have to do things a certain way. Like you grow up, you go to school, you get married. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's was put
There's a
into,
societal order, but it doesn't
yes,
serve everyone.
no. And the societal order is not part of what expands you,
Right.
right? Well, these are just, I guess, icing on the cake. Really,
Yeah.
we want to feel good just with ourselves, just with our own mind, body, soul. We feel good without anything else.
So I need to continue that work in order to be on my highest frequency.
Keep just saying it how it is. You don't need to filter at all. And that's also how you're going to find your most deepest, most powerful collaborations as well. Through saying it how it is, and your people will find you. Again, you have a devoted audience, a devoted audience. So once you find your people, they get you, they want that real version. They don't want the filtered down. They don't want
Right.
that. I'm your people. I don't want the filter down version.
Yeah, there's no filtering here. We know this.
Oh, no.
I think
So
that's also why those groups, those other spaces that you and I are in are so fueling and filling for me because there's no filtering. that occurs at all in the best sense. I think that's why
Yeah,
those spaces are fueling. And
very
they're
few.
hard to find, very hard to find.
Yeah, no, they are. And you can see how I don't know about you, but like after I'll get off a call together, my frequency is naturally lifted,
Absolutely. And
right?
my mind and my creative and my entire body and being is just so much more open to potential and opportunities and concepts, conversations. Like I always find myself in such a creative space after leaving those spaces.
Yes, that's exactly it. And that's why even working through this on your own, it does naturally bring you to those more creative spaces and things too. That's why my creativity really does feel fueled all the time. Like I find art in every day. Every day I'm like, I get so happy by what's around me. And I definitely owe a lot to the shadow work that I've done. And I get emotional because I'm so happy and thankful about, yeah, why this is so important. I want to share how important shadow work is to everybody, how important it is to look at your own individual chart, even your
Right.
chart total, right? Like this is just one way, but looking at your chart to understand yourself, looking at astrology for me has been all like mind altering and changed how I move and I feel more regulated, really.
I think a lot of people think this is such woo versus that it's actually a science and it does help you feel regulated. I think that's the terminology we honestly need to shift to. Because when we say alignment, so many people are like, that's woo. But really when you are aligned with your chart and your messaging and like why you're supposed to be here on this earth, we are regulated. We're feeling better. We're living more authentically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It regulates you. It gives you a sense of direction and regulation. Yeah, it really does. Like I get up every day and I'm excited because I know what I'm supposed to do before. I used to feel restless, irritable, discontented, like really all of the time. And
Yeah,
now I do not feel that way. I feel regulated and I truly know a lot of it is because of the work that I'm doing.
it's
Yeah.
huge. So how does human design play into this? And also, what is human design? Because a lot of people don't understand what that is.
I know it's very in depth. It is very in depth because there's a
Yeah,
whole charts to it.
yeah.
But in a general sense, the human design, like so if you look at your profile, I can't believe yours is it's rare because for you you're a manifester, which is really rare. You're a manifester 6-2, so that's your profile. How you're energetically built to work, to create, to attract. So how you're energetically made up to
And this
attract.
to attract other energies, right?
Yes, you're here to initiate movements. As a manifestor 6-2, you're here to initiate movements, which this is a movement. Having these not uncomfortable, but yeah, for some people, uncomfortable, really real, raw conversations, that creates a movement. You'll see this will probably bring you, and I have no doubt about it, to a big movement. As a manifester, it's very important to trust your impulses. Trust your impulses and lead boldly, embodying them on your own, right? That's interesting because yes, with your Jupiter and Libra, it's a lot about collaboration, but your human design as a manifester is more to initiate movements and through your impulses and trust them without others. A lot of it is actually your ideas. It's you, but you're collaborating to bring that expansion. And it's really not waiting for permission for approval. That's how I could word it. Not
Okay.
waiting for permission for approval and trusting your impulses. You're going to start movements. I have no doubt about it. Watch, in a couple of years from now, this is going to be a movement.
I hope so. That's the goal.
Well, that's where this is. Do you see how they all build up together? What I do know, what I can explain as a manifestor 6-2, I know that the 6-2, those are the titles, the hermit and the role model. So the sixth line is really showing that you're here to be a living example through experience. Through experience. That's the role model part, right?
Yeah,
Where, and then really, you do need solitude to process as well. That's why the hermit comes in, right? You need solitude to process this so that you can be a role model through your experiences,
right.
right?
Yes. I'm
That's
smiling and laughing because we in a space yesterday that we were both in, I was discussing how hard it is to get time alone to allow the thoughts to come
Yeah.
through. And just
Yeah.
like, being a business owner, being a mom, being a partner, like wearing every hat that I wear, taking a minute for myself and not just a minute to go work out or to go do something for me, but like a moment of silence to actually align and kind of like taking your advice from our last episode to allow manifestation and thoughts to come through is so difficult for me. And so in our call yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm going to actually schedule this. And if things come through, great. And if they don't,
Yeah. And that's really part of the human design. So for you specifically too, that's actually necessary. Like you really do need downtime and solitude to process things so that you can amplify that sixth line. Yeah, taking that role model and your experience that you're going to share, but then you also have that hermit line in there where you need that solitude to process. Yeah. And when you do that, that's how, again, expansion happens because you're taking that time to sit with all your experiences, what's happening, so that you can move it through in your everyday life, in your work, in your family, everything, right? So
yeah,
you can understand yourself. But there's more to it. There's a lot more to it. Like truly, you could dive into this so deeply with the human design.
this is just like a bite size though. So like when you start working with your clients and you're doing like a 15-minute, just kind of like general dive, it looks like this though, of where we're piecing together our Jupiter sign, our human design, and our 10th house to
Yeah.
start just understanding the basis of where we need to start shadow work, what makes us feel uncomfortable, and then what we like align with or feel good about in order to understand what fuels us to do the things that we're doing.
Yeah. So what I do is I look at their chart in general, and then I will send them their frequency code, but your whole chart is important. Today I was kind of doing our frequency code as like an example for you, but
Yeah.
I'll look at their whole chart because it is as important, but this is more for like manifestation and expansion and how you operate. But of course, your whole chart's important. And also, I just get a lot of messaging for people. Just it'll just come, like literally.
Yeah. What is your
Yeah.
messaging for me? Because this
Yeah,
all just put a lot of pieces together for me and it makes a lot of sense.
I'm so glad. Yeah, for you, there's the messaging coming through is that the receive part was the main thing, was that you need to open yourself up to be able to receive and find solitude so that you have time to process things. Because, like I said, that messaging again, too, is that your mind is worth millions. It's saying that. And so having that downtime to process is very important because when you're going to do that, also the shadow work of being open to receive because you have like a wall up, right? A little bit of a, so
Oh,
that would be,
absolutely.
let's knock that down. Let's truly knock that wall down because then you'll be able to receive and flow with ease and it just will naturally happen. So, yeah, the messaging for you is that your mind is worth millions. You need downtime and solitude to really be able to process what's going on and open yourself up to receive. But also another thing too is it's as if you're going through your own spiritual awakening.
Hmm.
Like I know you've had it, I'm sure you've experienced that, but this is so deep. Like
Yeah.
since 2023, really, actually.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I had my daughter in 2024. We struggled with infertility in 22 and 23. And then since becoming a mother and shifting my business, I opened my group practice in 2023. I've been really busy since 2023. And I think honestly, since having my daughter, it's opened an entire new part of my being that I didn't know even existed. And in the last few months, like probably 6 months, starting Hatrack with Hannah.
It's really been initiated since 2023, where there's a shift that is the most profound ever in the best possible way, but it also has been very expansive in its own way. But now, like you said, the last 6 months, this is happening again. You definitely had a spiritual awakening in, yeah, 2023, maybe in your pregnancy. That's
Oh,
what
for
it feels
sure.
like. That's what happened to me with my daughter Nevaeh. During my pregnancy, I had this massive spiritual awakening. That's like the first one that I really felt ever, and it was during my pregnancy as well. So it does. It's like an out of body experience. Like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is. And I think for me, it's just been like things clicking, if that
Yeah,
makes
things
sense.
are clicking. Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. There's something you can't fake it too. So it's
No,
just happening to you. It's very obvious in your energy and everything, and it's expanding now. So the more you can look within and really believe what's going to happen is going to happen. It's like I feel like you have a knowing, but there's a wall. So once we knock the wall down, then all the doubt is going to dissipate within yourself because it's honestly your doubt too. It's not anyone else's.
sure.
It's yours.
When you're manifesting huge things, right? And you want them to happen, but you're just, when the narrative is running of the you can't or you need to be filtered, or the learned behavior of you can only give and not receive, that wall just gets really huge.
Yeah. So for those are the things, and I know you'll definitely overcome them. You'll work through them, and you'll feel just lighter. You really will. You'll feel the wall come down. I know the wall is going to come down. Like, and now I just feel it happening in the now. There's a movement around your energy that's indescribable and something that is through your lived experience as well.
Yeah,
It's through your lived experience and what you've been through. And that's why your voice matters because there's something that you're going to amplify that so many people, specifically women too, need to hear.
I love that and I feel that. You know how some women say, like, as you grow up, you just give less fucks. So you start to not filter and not care. I think a
Yeah,
lot of people miss that's actually their own spiritual awakening of taking off their mask and filter and allowing themselves to live authentically. But we can't call it that because, woo. But for many, I think that's actually what that is.
completely, completely.
Yeah.
Like
And people
30s are
hit
where
it
it's at.
differently in their lives, obviously.
Yeah,
But
no, I was like 30s are where where it's at, but not true. It is at different periods of
oh, yeah.
mine just happened to be in my 30s.
Well, I was gonna say it's so funny. My grandma, it's happening for her right now. Her filter is coming off,
I
and
love it.
she's saying whatever she wants to say, and we all sometimes laugh and sometimes are like, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna hear this and laugh." But people's filters just come off at different times in their life when they decide to live more freely.
Oh, what's her name?
Sue,
She was with an
Grandma
S. That's
Sue,
why I asked.
the
What's this
sass.
about? Getting everyone to be authentic, live authentically. Like we deserve, it's our birthright to live free and authentic as we are.
When
Yeah.
often people think when you say like it's your birthright, that's a privilege that you have to live up to or succeed to then have that birthright, but it's not. It's just it's ingrained in us, and as long as you remove and work through the shadow work to like take hold of this birthright of living authentically, then you can have it.
Yeah. Yes. 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 And no matter where you are too, no matter where you are or what you're going through or what's happening around you, you can have it. You can speak your truth, right? You don't have to hold back. And that's what I think keeps so many people stuck for so long is because they're so afraid,
Oh yeah.
but there's some liberation about just being completely authentic that you can see it in the people who have taken that initiation to just boldly be themselves and speak their truth. And that's when the messaging and what you're doing is going to expand because, again, it's going to bring things to light that are usually not talked about. And it's very important.
Well, thank you so much for giving us an insight into the work that you do and using me as an example and reading my frequency code. I'm so happy we got to do this, and I'm glad that we're adding this on because I feel like it just helps understand and put context to so much of the conversation we were having last week, but also, just take the woo out of it, if you will, and help those understand like what alignment and what this work actually is and means. Because it's actually not woo at all. There's a lot of science to it.
A lot of science. When you and
Yeah.
you when you read like for example your 10th house or Jupiter, every single person I do it to, they're like, "Oh my goodness, that makes sense."
Yeah.
And you read a different one and you're like, "That doesn't make sense for me." It's always what is for the person, right? So it's
Right.
like there's a science, there is a complete science to this.
But a lot
Yeah.
of people just hear astrology and they go, that's woo, and they ignore it. But the people who embrace it really can also understand themselves better. And it's also one of those things like, why the hell not? Okay,
Yeah.
so you try it and it doesn't, you just don't believe in it. Okay, fine. But like, why not?
Why not? And why not? And then the shadow work transforms you.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
And in psychotherapy world, we call that the deep trauma work instead of shadow work, but it's what helps us be free of the experiences that we've had that don't serve us and learn to
Yeah,
place boundaries so we can serve ourselves.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I've expanded so much since doing deep shadow work.
it's incredible.
Thank you. I'm glad
Yeah,
that we can do this.
thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. And I will attach our free call with you and all of your socials and all of that. And so, Hat Rack listeners, go and follow and book your call with Jess.
Yeah, no, thank you. And we'll do your chart and dive into this, and
Yeah,
it'll be
very nice.